Are you ready to fully awaken to the truth of who you really are at your core? In this video, I'll be talking about how to be an awakened man. Stay tuned. Hi, this is Simon Lovell, bringing you growth in under 10 minutes. As always, hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell to make sure that you get my regular updates on the new videos that are coming out to support your growth. Now, I'll be honest, I never thought that I'd be sat here recording a video on how to be an awakened man. I mean, if you had asked me 10 years ago, even discussed the word awakening, I wouldn't have known what it meant, and I certainly wasn't embodying it. And so in a hero's journey, in a man's journey, there's always this wake-up call, and we get a choice, right, to go on a new path, go on a new journey. And for me, that was that moment where, I was taking drugs, I was gambling, I was destroying my life, and I got an opportunity to make a decision. So understand that the awakening journey is always going to come from an opportunity that rises and a decision, a difficult decision, a challenging decision that we need to make. And if we don't make that decision from that knowing, we're going to stay as we are. We're going to stay in potentially a toxic environment. We're going to stay living a life that's not to our highest potential. And we're always going to over-activate the mind, which is then going to come up with all of the fear, all of the limitation. Why? Because we've not listened to the voice that's crept in. And so then, as we go throughout that journey, becoming an awakened man is not just about those split-second decisions and those split-second moments. It is a lifelong commitment to grow. It's a lifelong commitment to better oneself. And in bettering ourselves, to give back, to awaken other people by sharing our truth. You see, if there's one thing I know for sure in the life that I used to live, it was based upon fear, not speaking my truth, not showing up in the way that I wanted to, doing all of the unhealthy soothing that I was doing, drinking, gambling, drugs, everything. And I made a commitment, and I said to myself, no matter what it takes, I am going to be the best version that I can be, and I know that I'm going to screw up, I know that I'm going to mess things up, but when I've got the awareness to make a change, to make an improvement, I read a book and then something comes into my awareness and it resonates with me, I'm actually going to take action on that. For example, I can remember reading one of Wayne Dyer's books, Power of Intention. And I was in a difficult stage of my life right then, and he talked about giving back. And so what did I do? In that moment, I felt that energy, and I went onto Facebook and I started to give money away. And I felt the benefit from the thing that I read. You see, all of the time we're having awareness brought to us, but what happens is that we don't take action upon that, and we don't follow through. But I created that shift for myself, and I started to take action. And do you know what happens? It starts to build upon itself. It starts to stack upon itself. You see, if you're in a life right now where, for example, you've got money struggles, you've got relationship struggles, it's all a struggle, right? And you're at this place where I'm like, oh, I want to be awakened. Maybe you're here because you've heard about, awakening. What does that mean? It just means that we go on a daily basis, we have a commitment to raising our own self-awareness, raising our consciousness, and just being the best that we can be, treating people with kindness, treating people with respect, but most of all, having respect for ourselves, because if we don't have respect for ourselves, what are we going to do? That's going to show up in different areas, right? However we're showing up externally is a direct impact of how we're showing up within ourselves. I use this analogy of the kettle, right? What happens when you boil a kettle? You hit the button on the kettle, and then it slowly starts to boil, right? And think about that in your life. Think about that when it comes to the things that you get angry or frustrated with. You see, that kettle slowly boils, right? And then it gets to this point where if you covered the top of the kettle, it would end up exploding, right? But what is at the start of all that? It's a little switch that you flick. You see, the process of awakening, the process of coming home to the truth of who you are, is about going into the well, right? And starting to deal with all of those things that we typically ignore. All of the things that we don't want to talk about, all of the things that we don't want to address. It's all in the subconscious mind. It's all of that past belief patterns, the relationship that we had with our parents, how we, had certain events that, when we grew up, took us off our proper life path, the path that was actually destined for us, right? And so if you're not on the path that you want to be on right now, it's that, and we do this all the time, we don't listen to our heart. We don't listen to that calling. Why? Because we're not confident that it would be the right thing to do. But when we go inward, when we spend time with ourselves and we start to know about that truth, that feeling, that pull, it's a pull, it's an energy. Once we start to understand energy and we understand how we operate as individuals, our whole life purpose, understanding our values, the direction that we're going in life, it comes from a energetic movement. It's a calling, and you don't question that. So to be an awakened man is to be a self-aware man. To be an awakened man is to be a man who's fully committed himself to growth. To be an awakened man is to spend time with those that raise your vibration and raise your energy. And when you do that, you move into positive action that's actually going to take you on the path that's like a river that's flowing. Imagine a river that's flowing and there's a raft and you jump out of the raft. What most people spend their life doing is going upstream and fighting against the stream instead of surrendering and letting go and allowing the river to take them to the next destination. And that is about trust. But how do we get into that slipstream, right? Well, that slipstream comes from spending time in meditation. It comes from the time that you spend educating yourself. It comes from the time that you spend being around the right type of people, coaches, mentors, guides, those that can take you back on track when you've taken yourself off course because of your overactive ego. But I also want to talk about something which is really important, which is if we say to ourselves, well, when I reach the top of the mountain, I'm suddenly going to not have any stress, not have any worry, not have any negative things going on in my life, we're under an illusion. You see, it's not that I don't get frustrated, it's not that I don't get stressed, it's not that I don't have difficult, challenging things go on in my life. If you're into growth, then of course you're going to reach that. Why? Because you're growing, congratulations. It's just that it doesn't happen for as long, right? You don't sit there as long in that because you're able to bring back your energy and move back into flow. We need more men who are going to step up to become more self-aware. Why? Because our families need it. Our friends need us to awaken. Our partners need us to be calmer, to be more loving, to be more grounded and conscious in communication. An awakened man is someone who gives back to the community that's so less about self and me, that it's about what can I do for the collective. It's a perspective shift. It's about not saying to myself, it's all about me, but able to look at it from a third person perspective, a neutral perspective, and also the universal perspective, right? When you can only see something from your point of view, when you're super skeptical, you're missing the bigger picture. Life can be a lot easier when we understand ourselves. The question is, what is going to be your next move to take you on that path of being an awakened man? Because I can tell you now, sitting here recording this video for me, my life is so different. I'm not the same man I was 3 months ago, let alone 3 years ago. And your intuition, your biggest lessons and purpose in life is going to come from the things that I've shared today, because you deserve ultimate happiness. You deserve ultimate fulfillment. And if there's any toxicity, if there's any energy that's draining you, it's your job, it's your courage, it's your decisions that you need to make to hold boundaries for yourself and to step into that new version of you that comes from admitting your flaws. It comes from you admitting the things that you need to improve on. It comes from having discussions with people to say, do you know what? Tell me the things that I can improve on, the things that I'm not seeing, and then taking action and moving upon those. When we do that, we start to build our confidence, we start to value ourselves more, new opportunities open up, we start to be able to surround ourselves with different people and opportunities, and suddenly you go from trying to get to swim upstream, and it's a fight, to sitting in the surrender and the slipstream of where life is naturally taking you. This is Simon Lovell, sharing new growth in under 10 minutes. Hit the subscribe button and also hit the bell to make sure that you get updates. And also please comment below. Where are you right now in your journey? What support do you need? Just be completely honest. Share with me. I'd love to interact with you. And I'll see you in another video. Take care.